How's it going, guys? Barokoshama here with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Season of Discovery, a new classic era play mode that's actually being launched this November 30th after BlizzCon 2023. And people are pretty hyped about it already. It's essentially Classic Plus. People have been asking about some sort of similar play style for the game that just extends upon the classes, extends upon the story. You know, they released a whole bunch of new content that's going to be coming, and I wanted to create a video going over the new rune system and some of the new runes that were announced and showcased in the demo at the BlizzCon panel for that. So we're going to go over all those abilities that were added. I have been playing Classic since it was released. I played a few classes. I'll talk about that in the video, and I kind of have an understanding about how classes are played. So I figured I'd give my 2 cents on some of these new abilities and what that means for some of the play styles for these classes going forward. I'm super excited myself about the Shaman tank. So like the video if you like it, subscribe for more content, leave a comment down below of what you guys are most excited for Season of Discovery, and let's get into it. It'll be fine. We're gonna go over the runes, all the runes at the BlizzCon demo, just to see what people have been playing with at BlizzCon for Season of Discovery for Classic WoW. I'm pretty hyped about it. I've been a fan of Classic WoW since it was launched. I went through the initial 1 to 60 on my Shaman, then I played BC on my Shaman, then I played Wrath of Lich King, and we played a Warlock and an enhanced Shaman in Wrath of Lich King for Naxxramas, and then I stopped playing it. But I did participate in hardcore. I got up to level 51, and then I fucking died. Or maybe it was 51 or 52, and then I died. But this is happening. Season of Discovery is releasing November 30th, and I wanted to go over the runes for the classes. At BlizzCon, we already reacted a little bit about, we did a little bit of a watch party on Twitch, but we reacted to the fact that Shamans are going to have a dedicated tank spec, which is going to be pretty cool. So I wanted to go over all the runes that are available at BlizzCon and talk about like a little bit of this stuff, go over it, and kind of like theory craft a little bit. And then maybe we'll actually make another video about gearing your Shaman tank in preparation for Black Fathom Deeps. So starting off with a Mage, you have rewind time. So your current target with your temporal beacon instantly heals all damage taken over the last 5 seconds. Effective on targets that did not have temporal beacon 5 seconds ago. Okay, so this is part of the whole healing Mage kit that you can have. Cool. Enlightenment, you deal 10% more damage while you have more than 70% mana. While below 30% mana, 10% of your mana regeneration continues while casting. All right. Pretty good for burst. Pretty darn good for burst. I like that. Starting off your pulls and while you're leveling, I think that's really good. Living Bomb. The target becomes a living bomb, taking 142 fire damage over 12 seconds. After 12 seconds, or if the spell is dispelled, the target explodes, dealing 72 fire damage to all enemies within 10 yards. All right. Okay, cool. Living Bomb. Arcane Blast. Arcane Blast the target with energy, dealing 190 to 221 arcane damage each time you cast Arcane Blast. The damage and healing of all other arcane spells, so rewind time, probably, is increased by 15%, and mana cost of Arcane Blast is increased by 175%. Effect stacks up to 4 times. All right. I like how they added the healing component of Arcane Blast. That's pretty cool. Ice Lance, just like Ice Lance back in the day. So deals frost damage and causes triple damage against frozen targets. Icy Veins hastens your spell casting. That's interesting that they're adding this. Pretty big cooldown. Increasing spell casting speed by 20% reduces the pushback suffering from damaging attacks while casting by 100%. Last 20 seconds. That's a pretty big duration for that. Okay. Arcane Surge. Unleash all of your remaining mana in a surge of energy focused at the target, dealing 95 to 111 arcane damage, increasing up to 300% based on your mana remaining. Holy shit. Afterwards, your normal mana regeneration is activated and increased by 300% for 8 seconds. I bet that's actually going to be a really good combination with Enlightenment. That'll be very interesting. Because if you, I wonder if it'll be enough mana regeneration. Like if you just play an Arcane Mage, if you have enough MP5 gear, you just play Arcane Surge and Enlightenment, and you probably just one-shot something. That'd be insane in PvP. Holy crap. Mass regeneration heals all of target players, party members, within 15 yards of the target player for 262 health over 3 seconds, and applies Temporal Beacon to each target for 15 seconds. Temporal Beacon works with your rewind time. Okay. Records the subject's space-time position, so 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chronomatic healing and divided among the caster's current temporal beacon targets. Holy shit. That's interesting. Could you imagine that with an Enlightenment plus Arcane Surge? That's a lot of healing. Wow. Living Flame summons a Spellfire Flame that moves towards the target. Oh, we saw the preview of this. Leaving a trail of Spellfire. This trail deals 42 Spellfire damage every second to nearby enemies last 20 seconds. That's interesting. That's a pretty... I think that'd be pretty good, like, AoE ability outside of... Well, actually, it's a set and forget. So that's pretty good because you use it. It's this AoE effect on the ground, right? And you don't have to worry about channeling like an AoE ability like Blizzard. Burnout increases your spell critical strike chance with all spells by 15%, but your non-periodic spell critical strikes now have an additional mana cost of 1% of your base mana. That seems like it's underwhelming, but we'll see how it's implemented when the time comes. Fingers of Frost gives your chill effect a 50% chance to grant you the Fingers of Frost effect, which treats your next 2 spell casts as if they were frozen last 15 seconds. Obviously, this plays really well into Ice Lance, right? Because Ice Lance is an instant cast spell. I'm pretty sure it has no cooldown. It might have a cooldown, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So when you get Fingers of Frost cast, it'll play a lot like retail WoW, where you just cast 2 Ice Lances back to back. Regeneration heals the target for 485 health over 3 seconds and applies Temporal Beacon for 30 seconds, right? Records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chronomatic healing and divided amongst the caster's current temporal beacon targets. Okay, so this is just a consistent thing when it comes to arcane and time healing with your beacons. That's very interesting, actually. It's a lot like atonement healing, I guess, with Disc Priest. All right, moving on to Druid. Survival of the Fittest. Reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 6% and reduces all damage taken by 10%. Damage taken reduced by additional 10% while in bear form or dire bear form. Cool. Extra tanking. Like it. Star Surge. Oh, they added Star Surge. Launch surging stellar energies that cause arcane damage. Star Surge benefits from a trigger's most talents and effects that trigger or benefit from Wrath or Starfire. Okay. Cool. Cool. I like that. Sunfire burns the enemy. An additional 110 nature damage over 12 seconds. In addition, while in bear form, cat form, or dire bear form, your Moonfire is replaced with Sunfire. This spell benefits from and triggers all effects associated with Moonfire. Okay. I like that it changes while you're in bear or cat form. Lacerate. Nice. Lacerates the enemy target, making them bleed for 42 over 15 seconds, plus 20% weapon damage per existing application of Lacerate on the target. Causes a high amount of threat, stacks up to 5 times. Yeah, this was a very old ability for bear tanking. I remember doing this, I think it was in Cataclysm. Heals all of targets. Okay, Wild Growth. Yeah, that's right. They showcased that. Heals all player targets within 15 yards of the target player for 156 over 7 seconds. The amount healed is applied quickly at first, then slows down. wild growth reaches its full duration. Okay. Mangle. Mangle the target for 160% normal damage and causes the target to take 30% additional damage from bleed effects and shred for 1 minute. Cool. This ability benefits from and triggers all effects associated with Claw and Maul. Wow, Feral Druid actually might be really freaking good with Mangle. Reduces the global cooldown of your Rejuvenation Life Bloom abilities by 0.5 seconds, and you gain Life Bloom ability. Okay. Life Bloom heals a target for 45 over 7 seconds. Then, when Life Bloom completes its duration or is dispelled, the target instantly is healed for 91, and the Druid regains half the cost of the spell. This effect stacks up to 3 times. Traditional Life Bloom. Played a lot of this with Resto Druid when I played Resto Druid in Wrath of the Lich King. Skull Bash. You get an interrupt. We all know what Skull Bash does. Savage Roar. It's a finishing move that increases physical damage done by 30% while in cat form. That's cool that they're adding Savage Roar. Yeah, Feral Druid actually might be really, really cool. I might be interested in leveling a Druid as well. Living Seed. When you critically heal your target with any healing spell, you plant a Living Seed on the target for 30% of the amount healed. Living Seed will bloom when the target is attacked. Oh, that's cool. Kind of like Earth Shield. I like that. Or Prayer of Mending. Kind of like Prayer of Mending too. Wild Strikes. While you are in cat form, bear form, or dire bear form, party members within 20 yards gain increased combat ferocity. Each melee hit has a 20% chance of granting the attacker an attack speed with 20% additional attack power. Oh, an attacker. It grants him an extra attack. I read that wrong. With 20% additional attack power. It's pretty much Wind Fury for... Yeah, it's no effect if the party member is already benefiting from Wind Fury Totem. Yeah. So you don't need to run a Enhanced Shaman or a Wind Fury Totem. You can actually replace that that Air Totem with something else. Like Tranquil Mind or... That's good. That's actually good. I wonder if it's only... I mean, it's party members, right? So I guess this wouldn't be for all 10 raid members for Black Fathom Dips, because Black Fathom Dips is going to be a 10-man raid. So if you have like a Feral Druid in one group and then a Shaman in another, I guess you have both your bases covered for any melee. So that's good. Fury of the Storm Rage. Reduces the mana cost of Wrath by 100%, and each time you deal damage with Wrath, you have a 12% chance for your next cast of Healing Touch within 15 seconds to be instant. Okay. So this, I guess, is really good for downtime if there's not a lot of healing going on, right? And you kind of want to get some extra damage out as a healer. So that's pretty good. All right, Priest Runes. Priests get Penance. We know what Penance does. Mind Seer. Cause an explosive shadowy magic around the target, dealing 35 to 39 shadow damage every 1 second for 5 seconds. That's cool that they're getting Mind Seer. Circle of Healing. Heal all target players, party members, within 15 yards of the player for 82 to 93 or 92. Interesting. So it's like a little AoE cast heal. Like Chain Heal, but for Priest. That's cool. Shadow Word Death. Okay, they get the Execute. Word of Dark Binding that afflicts shadow damage to the target. The target is not killed by Shadow Word Death. The caster takes damage equal to the damage inflicted upon the target. Interesting. So it's not an Execute, actually. It doesn't interact like Execute does. Not a percentage health thing. It's like if the target doesn't die, you take the damage. Okay. Okay. That'll still be, I think, good for... Might still be good for PvP implications. If you're like about to get CC'd, you just Shadow Word Death the target. But I don't know if the damage instance is instant. Damage instance is instant, and if the damage that you do to the target automatically damages you if they don't die. I don't know how, like, that there might be, this would be really good if there was spacing between the damage that they take and the damage that's dealt to you. Summons a holy barrier. Oh, they're giving priest barrier. That's interesting. Okay, Twisted Fate. Mind Flame, Mind Blast deal 20% increased damage to targets afflicted by your Shadow Word Pain. Really good for Shadow Priest. Shared Pain. Your Shadow Word Pain now also afflicts up to 2 additional nearby targets within 15 yards. That's really good for multi-dotting. Holy crap. Homunculite. This was something that was really interesting that they released. So, break off splinters of your soul to animate 3 miniature copies of yourself that attack your current target with mace, sword, and axe, reducing the attack speed, attack power, and armor respectively of any target they hit. That's cool. That's really cool. I like that. It's kind of like mirror images, but cooler. And it doesn't reduce your threat. So that'd be interesting. Places a spell on the target. So, prayer mending. Yes, we know what prayer mending does. Void Plague. Oh. Afflicts the target with a disease that causes 116 shadow damage over 18 seconds. Okay. Interesting. Serendipity. Healing with Flash Heal reduces the cast time of your next lesser heal, greater heal, or prayer of healing by 20% for 20 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. Wow. All right. Blasting out heals as a priest. Strength of Soul. Lesser heal, greater heal, and Flash Heal reduces the remaining duration of weakened soul on the targets they heal by 4 seconds. Okay. Some good debuff management. Warlock. I know Warlock's probably going to get a lot of really good shit. Lake of Fire. Rain of Fire also leaves a lake of fire on the ground that increases all fire damage you deal and your demon pets deal to afflicted enemies by 40% for 15 seconds. Holy crap. So you don't even have to full channel the Rain of Fire. You just like do 1 tick of Rain of Fire and send out a Chaos Bolt. And that Chaos Bolt's now doing 40% increased damage. That's crazy. Master Channeler. Your drain life no longer channels. Instead, it lasts 15 seconds with a 15-second cooldown, costs 100% more mana, and heals you for 50% more each time it deals damage. This is insane for PvP. You just like, this is actually insane for PvP because you just shuffle this with life tap. Like, I'm pretty sure you would never go That's actually really good. Wow. Really good for leveling, really good for PvP. Increases the soul siphon, increases the amount drained by your drain life and drain soul spell by an additional 6% for each of your Warlock shadow effects afflicted to your target, up to a maximum of 18% additional effects. Okay, that's really good for Affliction Warlock. Cool. Just put up Corruption, a Havoc. Pretty sure this works with Corruption, Havoc, Drain life itself, because it would be a debuff on the target. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. All of them. But it only stacks up to 3. So that's interesting. Okay. Demonic Tactics increases the melee and spell critical strike chance of you and your pet by 10%. Really good for Demonology Warlocks. Everlasting Affliction, Drain Life. Actually, this would probably be good for Warlock tanking as well. Drain Life, Drain Soul, Shadow Bolt, Shadow Cleave, Searing Pain, Incinerate, and Haunt. Refresh the duration of your corruption on your target back to its maximum duration. Very cool. Very cool. Apply it once, set and forget. Incinerate. We know what Incinerate does. Okay. Burn the enemy for 96 to 111 damage and increases all fire damage you deal by 25% for the next 15 seconds. Incinerate plus Lake of Fire plus a Chaos Bolt. Wow. Wow, that's insane. Demonic Grace. Surge with fell energy, increasing your pets and your own dodge chance by 30% and your chance to critically strike with all attacks by 305. Last 6 seconds. Really good for tanking. Demonic Pact. Your pet's critical strikes apply the Demonic Pact effect on your party members for 45 seconds. Demonic Pact increases all spell damage and healing by 10% of your spell damage 4 or 13, whichever is higher. Does not work on subjugated demons. Oh, okay. So you can't control a demon and then it does it. Okay. Metamorphosis. This is a big one. So you transform into a demon, increasing your armor by 5%, reducing the chance you will be critically hit by 6%, increases your threat by 100%, increases your mana gained from life tap by 100%, transforming the functionality of some of your abilities. So Searing Pain is now instant. Shadow Bolt becomes Shadow Cleave, a Shadow Cleave attack that hits up to 3 enemies, but has a 6-second cooldown. Curse of Recklessness now also taunts your target to attack you for 3 seconds, but gains 10-second cooldown, and range is reduced to melee. Interesting. Demon Charge, so now you get to charge. And Demonic Howl forces all nearby enemies to focus attacks on you for 3. So they have a fucking AoE taunt? Dude, Warlock tank is gonna be sick. Shadow Bolt Volley. Your Shadow Bolt now strikes up to 5 targets within a chain distance of 10 yards, but for 20 reduced damage. So this is actually really interesting because you can start out in your Warlock form, your regular Warlock form, run Shadow Bolt Volley, and let's say you're trying to pull like a group of mobs. So you send out a Shadow Bolt Volley, you transform, you charge in, I'm pretty sure the Shadow Bolt Volley is going to do more damage than Shadow Cleave, so you wouldn't Shadow Cleave. But if Shadow Bolt Volley doesn't have a cooldown, that probably means that your Shadow Bolt and your Shadow Cleave is not going to have a cooldown when you're in Metamorphosis. Like, if you Shadow Bolt Volley, Metamorphosis, charge in, you Shadow Cleave, that's going to be a lot of threat generated right off the start. That's really cool. So, Chaos Bolt, we talked about that already. Let's move on to Haunt. So, unleash a Ghostly Soul on the enemy, dealing 108 to 127 damage, and increases all shadow damage over time you deal to that target by 20%. When the haunt ends or is dispelled, you will be healed for all the damage it dealt to your target. That's cool. Interesting. Dude, Warlock is actually going to be so sick. Fuck, I want to play Warlock too now. Damn. Alright, Warrior. Flagellation. Gain a 20% bonus to physical damage done for 12 seconds after activating Blood Rage or Berserker Rage. Okay, cool. Nice little power up. Is this classic or is it going to be brought into retail? No, this is classic. This is classic Season of Discovery. Blood Frenzy. Each time you deal bleed damage, you gain 3 rage. Okay, that works really, really well with Rend. Raging Blow. A ferocity strike that deals 100% damage, weapon damage, but can only be used while in Rage, Berserking Rage, or Blood Rage is active. Okay. That makes sense. Raging Blow was, I believe, in Mop, maybe Cataclysm. Warbringer. Your charge, intercept, and intervene abilities are now usable while in combat and in any stance, and will remove all movement impairing effects when activated. Cool. That's going to be really freaking good for warriors in PvP. Furious Thunder. Thunderclap now increases the time between attacks by an additional 6% and can be used in any stance. Sweet. Okay. Consumed by Rage. Enrages you and grants you 25% melee bonus damage for 12 seconds or up to a maximum of 12 swings after you exceed 80 rage. So Flagellation and Consumed by Rage. Pretty cool. I wonder if this counts as an enrage effect for things like Raging Blow. Because if you can use Consumed by Rage and then you just spam Raging Blow, and it also works with Flagellation, I wonder if that is kind of like a good crossover. We'll have to see. There's a lot of enraged stuff here. Frenzied Assault. While wielding two-handed weapons, your attack speed is increased by 20%. Cool, cool. Victory Rush. Yeah, you get healed. So only usable within 20 seconds after you kill an enemy that yields experience or enemy or honor. Endless Rage. You generate 25% more rage from all damage you deal. Dude, this even works with Blood Frenzy. So imagine like spamming Rend on a bunch of targets and then like you're just pooling rage as a tank. Or DPS. That sounds pretty cool. Devastate. While you are in defensive stance and you have a shield equipped. Yep. Sunder Armor also deals 100% weapon damage increased by 10% per application of Sunder Armor. Cool. Sunder Armor also does a crap ton of threat, so Devastate's going to do a lot of threat too. Single-Minded Fury. While dual wielding, your physical damage and movement speed are increased by 10%. All right, they get Single-Minded Fury. Interesting. Quick Strike, a reckless instant melee attack with your two-handed weapon, dealing 50 to 83 physical damage. This ability benefits from and triggers all effects associated with Heroic Strike. Okay, interesting, interesting. Warrior's gonna be pretty cool. A lot of enraged stuff. Hunter. Expose Weakness. Come to PTR. I'm almost done. I have like four specs left, and then I can come. Expose Weakness. Your ranged criticals increase your attack power by 40% and your current agility for 7 seconds. Okay. Master Marksman increases your critical strike chance by 5% and reduces the mana cost of all of your shot abilities by 25%. Honestly, like they should just in Season of Discovery, they should just switch Hunter over to focus and not mana. But whatever. Lone Wolf, you deal 25% increased damage with all attacks while you do not have an active pet. Interesting. Cobra Strikes. Your critical hits with shot abilities cause your pet's next 2 special attacks to critical hit. Oh. Okay, cool. They get Kill Command? Give the command to kill, increases your pet's damage done from special attacks by 60% for 30 seconds. Each special attack done by your pet reduces the damage bonus by 20%. Oh, so it's not an instant damage application. It's just a damage buff for your pet. Cool. Sniper Training. Your shot abilities gain 30% increased critical strike chance while you have not moved in the last 6 seconds. Sniper Training is going to work really well with Exposed Weakness. Wow. Okay. Yeah, just be a stationary marksman. Serpent Spread. Targets hit by your multi-shot are also afflicted by your Serpent Sting for 6 seconds. Yeah, but Serpent Sting doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so that's interesting. You and your pet deal... Okay, Flanking Strike. You and your pet deal simultaneous instant 100% melee damage. Afterwards, your Mongoose Bite and Raptor Strike deal 10% increased damage for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Raptor Strike has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Flanking Strike. This would be good for a melee hunter with Lone Wolf. Unless it just doesn't work if you don't have a pet, which would be kind of weird. Beast Mastery. Your pet's damage and health are increased by 30% and its focus regeneration by 80%. Additional, your pet's growl now also taunts the target it attacks for 3 seconds. Okay. Okay, so it turns growl into an actual taunt, but you can turn growl off if you don't want to use it. Chimera Shot. You deal 125% weapon damage. Refresh the current sting on your target and triggering an effect. So Serpent Sting instantly deals 40% of the damage done by your Serpent Sting. Okay. Viper Sting instantly restores mana to equally to 60% of the total amount drained by Viper Sting. Oh. That's kind of crazy. And Scorpid Sting. Attempts to disarm the target for 10 seconds. This effect cannot occur more than once per 1 minute. Really good for PvP. Really good for PvP with Scorpid Sting. Chimera Shot. I'm pretty sure it has a cooldown. So this wouldn't really work well. If Chimera Shot has a cooldown, this wouldn't work well with Serpent Spread. Explosive Shot. You fire an explosive charge to the enemy target, dealing 70 4 to 91 fire damage. The charge will blast the target every seconds for an additional 2 seconds. Cooldown shared with arcane shot. Yeah, explosive shot was really strong. Explosive shot was really strong back in the day. Harv, a sweeping attack that strikes all enemies in front of you for 50% weapon damage. Interesting. I wonder how melee hunter's gonna look. This will be interesting. Rogue, deadly brew. When you afflict any other poison on your target, you also inflict deadly poison. Wow. Okay. Rick, that actually might be really good with just dual wielding instant poison and then just have deadly brew. But we'll see. Just a flesh wound. You take 20% reduced physical damage while Blade Dance is active. Additionally, you have 6% reduced chance to be critically hit by melee attacks. The threat generation of all your actions is massively increased, and your feint ability is replaced with Tease, which taunts the target to attack you. Tease taunts the target to attack you, but has no effect if the target is already attacking you. Interesting. So yeah, rogues can tank. That's really cool. Quick draw. Draw your ranged weapon and fire a quick shot at an enemy, causing normal ranged weapon damage and reducing the target's movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds, awards 1 combo point. Quick draw benefits from all talents and effects that trigger from or modify Sinister Strike. Wow. All right, that's really good. Okay. Really good if something's like running away and you don't have like crippling poison on or something. That's nice. I like this. It's also really good for like gap closing as a rogue in PvP. That's really nice. Slaughter from the Shadows. Reduces the energy cost of your backstab and ambush abilities by 20. Does not apply to mutilate. Okay. Assassination rogues might be pretty crazy with this alone. Wow. Between the eyes. Ranged finishing move. Oh, okay, this is just outlaw rogue right here. Ranged finishing move that causes damage per combo point increased by attack power and stuns the target. That's really good for PvP. Wow. Gap closing stun. That's insane for rogue in PvP. Blade Dance. Finishing move that increases your parry chance. Lasts longer and grants more parry chance per combo point. Very interesting for rogue tank. Wow. And while Blade Dance is active, you take 20% reduced physical damage. That's very interesting. Okay. Envenom. Finishing move that deals instant poison damage based on if your deadly poison dose is on the target. Following the Envenom attacks, you have a 75% increased chance of frequency to apply instant poison for 1 second, plus an additional 1 second per combo point. 1 dose is active per combo point. Well, this works really well with Deadly Brew. You just run double instant poison on your weapons. And then you just envenom and you have an increased chance to proc instant poison, which means more deadly poison procs. Wow, okay. Really good. I like this already for Rogue. Mutilate. Instant attacks with both weapons for 100% weapon damage, plus an additional 20 with each weapon. Damage is increased by 20% against poison targets, awards 2 combo points. Mutilate benefits from all talents affected triggers for modifies backstab unless otherwise specified. Yeah, like otherwise specified back in what was it? Slaughter of the Shadows. Yeah. Shadow Strike. You teleport behind the target, cause 150% weapon damage, and must be stealth, awards 1 combo point. Interesting. Viciously, so Saber Slash, viciously slash an enemy for 130% weapon damage and cause the target to bleed for 11 damage every 2 seconds for 12 seconds, stacking up to 3 times, award 1 combo point. Saber Slash benefits from all talents and effects that would normally modify Sinister Strike. Interesting. I wonder if you have to have a sword equipped for this, though. I hope not. I hope not. Shiv. Instantly attack with your offhand weapon to deal normal offhand damage with 100% chance to apply the poison from your offhand weapon to the target. Slower weapons require more energy. Awards 1 combo point. Shiv benefits from all targets and effects that would modify Sinister Strike. Okay. Main Gouch. Main Gouch. Gouch? Gotch? Main Gotch. I have no idea. Instantly strike your offhand weapon for normal. Main Gooch? Okay. Might be Main Gooch. Your offhand weapon for normal offhand weapon damage and increases your parry chance by 10% for 10 seconds. Main Gotch benefits. Main Gooch benefits from all talents and effects that would modify Sinister Strike. It's another good tanking, like rogue tanking thing. So you get like a lot of parry. You're just going to be parrying so many attacks, which means I forget when you get riposte, but if you run combat, I think you get riposte at level 20. So I think if you're just parrying all the time, you're also disarming a shit ton if you have riposte. So this is pretty cool for rogue tanking. Shaman. All right, here's what we've been waiting for, the Shaman stuff. Dual weapon specialization increases your chance to hit with both spells and melee attacks by 5% while dual wielding, and your Storm Strike ability now hits with both weapons while dual wielding. That's actually a way better fucking dual wielding spec. Like, that's spells and melee attacks increase hit chance by 5%. That's crazy. Shield Mastery. Each time you block, you generate mana equal to 4% of your maximum mana, and you gain armor equal to 30% of your shield's armor value, stacking up to 5 times. Wow. Okay. You also gain 10% increased chance to block and 15% increased block value. Okay, so just going into Shield Mastery gives you 10% increased chance to block and 15% increased block value. That's a really good buff that you can maintain on yourself. Like, increased armor value of 30% shield, stacking up to 5 times. Wow. Pretty fucking good. So you're getting 150% increased armor value from your shield if you have 5 stacks. That's really awesome. Overlord gives your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Healing Wave, and Lava Burst spells. What? You can get Lava Burst. Oh my god. Yes, dude. A 33% chance to cast a second similar spell on the same target with no additional cost that causes half the damage of your healing. So this is great. This is essentially Wrath Lich King, Ellie Shaman. All right. Because we get Lava Burst. Hell yeah. Healing Rain. We know what Healing Rain does. Ancestral Guidance for the next 10 seconds. 25%. Wow, they gave us Ancestral Guidance in Classic WoW. That's pretty cool. We know what Ancestral Guidance does. Earth Shield. Protects the target with an Earth Shield, reduces casting or channeling time lost when damaged by 30%, and causing attacks to heal the shielded target by 100. This effect can only occur once every few seconds. 3 charges last 10 minutes. Earth Shield can only be placed on 1 target at a time, and only 1 elemental shield can be active at a target time. Okay, so it's just good for healing. Way of Earth. This is the Shaman tanking ability. While Rockbiter weapon is active on your main hand weapon, you deal 100% increased threat, gain 30% increased health, take 10% reduced damage, gain 6% reduced chance to be critically hit by melee attacks, and Earthshock taunts the target you attack you, and has a separate cooldown from other shock spells, but has its range reduced to melee range. Okay, this is definitely one of the coolest runes in the game. I love this. This is fantastic. I cannot wait to play a Shaman tank. Shamanistic Rage reduces all damage you take by 20%, and you generate mana every second for 15 seconds. Mana regeneration per second is equal to 15% of your attack power, 10% of your spell power, or 6% of your healing power, whichever value is greatest. This is fantastic. Great, we get a damage reduction that also doubles as mana regeneration. I love it. And it's not tied to Storm Strike. Mana generation used to be tied to like your your auto attacks or your Storm Strike from Shamanistic Ridge. So I'm glad it's not. It's just a passive mana regeneration. So this will work really, really well with Shield Mastery. Water Shield, you just get mana generation. We know what Water Shield does. Lava Burst, we know what it does, but I'm still going to talk about it. You hurl molten lava at the target, dealing 198 to 256 fire damage. If your Flame Shock is on the target, Lava Burst will deal a critical strike. This is a lot of damage. Like, compare it to Chaos Bolt, dealing 225 to 286 fire damage. Like, it's almost on par with Chaos Bolt. That's fantastic. I love that. And it guarantees a critical strike with Flame Shock. So that's sick. Lava Lash. You charge your offhand weapon with lava, instantly dealing 100% offhand weapon damage. Damage is increased by 20% of your offhand weapon is enchanted with Flame Tongue. Of course. Molten Blast. Blast enemies in a cone in front of you for 39 to 54 fire damage. This ability generates a high amount of threat. Flame Shock periodic damage has a 10% chance to reset the cooldown on Molten Blast. Okay. This is really cool. So as Enhanced Shaman, you're going to do probably like a ranged Flame Shock to on pull, or like Chain Lightning into a Flame Shock on one target. Right? You taunt maybe you taunt like your target that Chain Lightning didn't hit, and then you just try and get out as many Molten Blasts as possible while spreading Flame Shock. This is cool. This is going to be some fun gameplay, I feel. I like it. I like it a lot. Paladin. Seal of Martyrdom. We heard about this actually in the announcement. So it fills you with Holy Spirit for 30 seconds, causing each of your melee attacks to deal 30% weapon damage up to 3 nearby targets, but you lose health equal to 10% of the damage inflicted. Okay. While this seal is active, your party members within 40 yards gain mana equal to all the damage you take. So while it's active, even the damage that you're taking from, like, let's say you're tanking and you're running Seal of Martyrdom, all the damage you're taking is converted into mana. So unleashes the seal's energy, will judge an enemy, instantly causing 70% weapon damage at the cost of health equal to 10% damage inflicted. So you activate it. I guess it's a double activation spell. So you can activate it, and then it has a second ability tied to it that you can also activate to cause the instant damage, which also will give you that instant mana to the party. That's cool. Divine Storm. So an instant weapon attack that causes 110% of weapon damage to up to 4 enemies within 8 yards. The Divine Storm heals up to 3 party members or raid members. Oh, it actually goes to raid members, totaling 25% of the damage caused. That's interesting. Divine Storm is usually a Ret Paladin ability, so we'll see if there's actually room in the prop Paladin kit for this. Horn of Lordaeron. The Paladin blows the Horn of Lordaeron, increases total strength and agility of all party members within 30 yards by 17, last 2 minutes, exclusive with Blessing of Might. So they're pretty much getting Horn of Winter that Death Knights had, but it's in Vanilla WoW. Cool. Aegis. Increases your block value by 30%, and damaging melee and range attacks against you have a 10% chance to increase your chance to block by 30%. Last 10 seconds or 5 blocks. Effect not cumulative with Reboot. Wow. So increase your block value by 30%. And then range and melee attacks against you have a 10% chance to increase your block value. The chance to block by 30%. So that's really nice. I like that. It's kind of like a pseudo defensive for ranged and melee attacks. Not spell attacks, though, obviously. Divine Sacrifice. 30% of all damage taken by party members within 30 yards is redirected to the Paladin for 10 seconds. Damage which reduces the Paladin below 20% will break the effect and grant the Paladin 2% increased damage and healing. Done over 10 seconds. That's actually really interesting for Ret and Holy Paladin. I don't think I would use this as a tank unless there was like a lot of damage going out and you were off tanking at the time. You weren't tanking the boss. So that's interesting. Inspiration Exemplar. Your inspiring presence. Periodically dispels fear and sleep effects on nearby party members. Wow, really freaking good in PvP. That's for sure. Avengers. I mean, like the fact that you can like swap runes out automatically, and like as long as you're not in combat, you can swap your runes around, and there's no cooldown on that. Like if there's a fight where like there's a fear or a sleep effect, which there are in Black Fathom Deeps, I'm sure there's going to be. This is actually going to be really good for that. Especially if you don't have a shaman in a group with Tremor Totem. So that'll be really good. This is pretty much the Alliance equivalent to Tremor Totem. I like that a lot. Avenger's Shield. Hurls a holy shield at the target, dealing 156 to 197 holy damage, dazing them, and then jumping to additional nearby enemies. Affects 3 total targets. Last 10 seconds. Wow. Cool. They get Avenger's Shield. So you're definitely going to be using that to pull your packs. Exorcist. Exorcism can now be cast on any target and has 100% increased critical strike chance against undead and demons. Wow, okay. Rebuke interrupts spell casting and prevents any spell in that scroll from being cast for 2 seconds. They get an interrupt. Beacon of Light. The target becomes a beacon of light to all members of your party or raid member within a 60-yard radius. Any heal you cast on a party or raid member will also heal the beacon of light for 100% of the amount healed. Yep, that's beacon for you. Only one target can be the beacon of light at a time. Last 5 seconds or last 1 minute. So that's interesting. You probably just beacon the tank or something. Yeah, probably just beacon the tank or the off tank. Crusader Strike. They get Crusader Strike. Generates 2% of your maximum mana. This is going to be great for Holy Paladins. Hand of Reckoning. Taunts the target. They get their taunt finally. So taunts the target to attack you, but has no effect if the target is already attacking you, obviously. While you know this ability, the threat bonus from Righteous Fury is increased to 80%, and Righteous Fury causes you to gain mana when healed by others, equal to 25% of the amount healed. Additionally, while Righteous Fury is active, damage which takes you below 35% health is reduced by 20%. Righteous Fury will remain active until canceled. The prop paladins are going to be freaking tanky, man. All that additional block value, the increased mana regeneration from Hand of Reckoning, like that's going to be really interesting. We're going to be sending out consecrations without having to worry about mana. They don't have to drink as much. Like prop paladin's probably going to be really fun, especially now that they have like things like Hand of Reckoning, Divine Sacrifice. They have an interrupt with Rebuke. Like, wow. Very cool. Very, very cool. So anyway, this was all the runes in the classic demo at BlizzCon this year for Classic Season of Discovery. I hope you guys are interested in this. I'm definitely going to be playing it. I'm probably going to be playing a Shaman. Definitely want to try out Shaman tank. I want to try out Warlock tank. I want to try out Feral Druid. Like, maybe even Rogue tank. Like, Paladin. Like, everything seems pretty fun. Mage healing, like Healer Mage, definitely seems interesting with all this temporal stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of this video. Definitely hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe for more content. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff in 10.2 with the release of Guardians of the Dream. And now that Classic Season of Discovery is coming out on November 30th, you definitely check out the live stream. We're going to be doing a lot of content there. Twitch.tv/Barokoshama. To support my content, follow the page. If you also want to do anything more, I would appreciate you guys taking a look at my Patreon page. Everything helps. And until next time, keep calm and Shaman. Bye-bye.